I don't usually talk about that night, mostly because whenever I try, I feel like people won't believe me, but I know what I heard, and so do Ryan and Kaleb. We never went back to that place after W had happened. It was late September, the kind of month when the forests in Washington turn soggy and cold, and the rain never really stops. We had planned the camping trip months ago, a last blast. Before we all went separate ways for college, Ryan picked the spot, somewhere deep in the Olympican National Forest, off a barely marked trail, miles from any main road. No cell service, obviously. No civilization for miles. When we set up camp, the rain was already falling in thin, cold sheets. We made a quick fire under a cheap blue top, roasted some hot dogs, and talked about stupid memories. Tea first. It was perfect. The sound of rain tapping on the tent, the crackling of the fire. It was cozy. But then, round midnight, we heard it. A drum. Not loud. Not at first. It was faint, calm. In from deep within the black trees. Thoom. Thoom. We froze. Ryan, being Ryan, laugh. And said, maybe it's some other campers partying. But Kaleb wasn't laughing. His face had gone pale. Out here, he whispered, nobody else would be stupid enough to camp this far. The rain picked up, slashing sideways through the trees. The drumming grew louder. Thoom. Thoom. T. Hoon dash th. Hoon dash th. Hoon. It wasn't random. It had a pattern, a heartbeat rhythm. I remember looking at Ryan's face in the firelight. He wasn't smiling anymore. Maybe it's water dripping on something. Thought weakly. Kaleb shook his head. That's no drip. We sat there, staring into the woods, rain hammering the tarp overhead. I don't know how long we sat like that. Maybe 10 minutes. Maybe, but the drumming got closer, and closer. At some point, Ryan stood up, grabbed the flashlight, and pointed it toward the trees. The beam barely pierced the mist. All we saw were wet trunks and swaying branches. Hello. Ryan called out. Bad idea. So stupid. For a moment, the drumming stopped. The forest was deathly silent, except for the hiss of rain. Then, from somewhere deep in the woods, a voice called back. Hello. Guttural hello. Oh. It didn't sound right. It sounded wrong. Like someone forcing the word through a mouth that had forgotten how to use it. We bolted. We didn't even discuss it. We just grabbed what we could and ran. The trail back was almost invisible in the dark and rain. Trees closed round us. Mud sucked at our shoes. Behind us, the drumming stopped. Again, faster this time. Th. Hoon dash th. Hoon dash th. Hoon dash th. Hoon dash th. Hoon. I swear I heard footsteps sloping in the mud behind us. Heavy, sloppy, chasing us. When we finally reached the car, soaked, panting, shivering, Ryan's hand was shaking so badly he dropped the keys twice before unlocking the door. We peeled out of that parking area like demons were on our tail. And the weirdest part, when we got back to town the next day, Kaleb looked up some forest history. Apparently, decades ago, the Ray was a cult out there, a group that used to call the spirits with handmade drums. They vanished. One stormy night, no bodies were ever found. Just the drums, still thumping in the rain. We don't talk about it now. But sometimes, when the weather's bad, and the wind picks up, I think I can still hear the drumming, somewhere just beyond the trees. I always thought I was tough. I'd camped solo dozens of times. Deserts, mountains, forests. I love. The quiet. I loved being alone with my thoughts. But that night in the Mendocino National Forest, it broke something in me. I haven't camped alone since. It was late October. Prime rainy season. The trail I picked was barely a footpath, winding through towering redwoods so dense that even daylight barely touched the floor. By late afternoon, the rain started. Not hard, just a cold drizzle. I didn't care. I pitched my tent near a creek, made a small fire under a slanted top, and settled in. With a cup of instant coffee, the world was nothing but mist, trees, and the whisper of rain on leaf. East. Perfect. Until the sun went down. That's when I first saw it. A light, way off through the trees, flickering. At first, I figured it was just another hiker, maybe someone caught in the rain, trying to find dry ground. But as I watched, something gnawed at me. The light didn't move like ref. Flashlight or HEADLAMP. It BOBBED. Slowly, rhythmically, like someone carrying a lantern, which is odd, to say the least. Who the hell carries a lantern in 2025? I zipped up my tent, trying to tell myself it was nothing, just an old-school hiker, maybe, or a ranger. But round midnight, the rain got heavier, and the light got closer. At first, I only caught glimpses through the downpour. A yellow orb weaving between the trunks. Closer. Slow, patient. I turned off my headlamp and sat there in the darkness, barely breathing. The light moved with impossible smoothness. No bobbin' from footsteps, no sway from rough terrain, just a perfect glide between trees. And then I heard it, a voice, hoarse, cracked, whispering something I couldn't quite understand. I strained my ear. It was saying my name, not shouting, not calling out, just whispering it over and over, like a prayer. Jason, Jason. I wanted to believe I was dreaming. I pinched my arm hard enough to leave bruises. I was awake, wide awake. The light stopped about 20 yards from my tent. I held my breath through the rain-smeared plastic of the tent. I could just make out a figure. Tall, somehow, like its limbs were slightly too long. One arm dangled lower than the other, swinging a battered old lantern that flickered with sickly yellow light. I didn't move, didn't make a sound. The thing just stood there. Minutes passed, maybe hours. Then, slowly, it turned and drifted back into the woods, light bobbing behind it. I stayed frozen until dawn, when I finally unzipped my tent. The forest was empty. No footprints, no sign anyone had ever been there, except one thing. Hanging from the low branch of a tree 10 feet away was a lantern. Rusty, ancient. Still faintly warm to the touch. I left everything, tent, pack, food, and ran the 5 miles back to the trail. Head without stopping once. Later, when I told a ranger what happened, he just gave me a weird look. You camped by Bitter Creek, right? I nodded. He shook his head slowly. That area. Theirs. To call it the Widow's March. A miner went missing out there 100 years ago. His wife searched the woods every night with a lantern until she vanished too. Locals say you still see the light, if it wants you. He smiled sadly. Next time, kid, don't follow it.